And joining us here on Cats and Cosby as we are at the Republican National Convention here in Milwaukee is none other than the great Florida Senator Marco Rubio. Senator Rubio, great to have you here on the show. Talk about just how important this night is tonight. In just a matter of hours from now, we're going to hear from the former President of the United States, very likely the future one based on the polls. This is a powerful moment for not just the Republican Party, but for America.
Well, first of all, it's always fun to talk to future Floridians on the broadcast. So
we're looking at coming there, believe me.
I know. Well, we'll get our fair share for sure. But it's been a great convention. I've been to 5 conventions, beginning in '96 when I was a volunteer working at the convention. And this is by far the best one. The most unified party, the most enthusiastic party. The most confident party, and I think that's going to bode well. I mean, look, I think every party will tell you they feel great coming out of their conventions, but this is probably the best political convention Republicans have had since 1984, and I think that probably the best Democratic convention they had was in 2008 with Obama. You know, that one. This one's probably better than that one in my view. But nonetheless, I mean, I think we have a lot to feel good about. But look, there's still 100-something days left in this election. Frankly, at this moment, we don't know who President Trump's opponent is going to be, but I don't really think it matters. In the end, I don't think people are going to be voting for Trump because of Biden or Kamala Harris. I think they're going to vote for him because he's the only one running that's made them a priority, people a priority, not ideology, but them, the people. And I think that makes him a unique candidate in the modern political history of our country. And it's the reason why I think he's going to be our president again. What could be a pretty big victory if things play out.
Well, and speaking of which, so much so that former President Obama came out and has been quoted left and right saying that he's trying to push President Biden out. We've heard reports from everywhere. You just brought up it's what a juxtaposition from the unification and the energy here, and it seems like the Democrats are in complete disarray.
Well, and also they're hypocrites, right? Because they talk about how they're the defenders of democracy, but 14 million Democrats voted for Biden in a primary, and then here come 8 to 10 of their in-party elders, self-appointed party elders, and they come in and basically decide we're going to push our nominee out of the way. I mean, that doesn't sound very democratic to me. That sounds, kind of Soviet. So I would just tell you that that's their problem to figure out, but they are the ones that covered this up. They knew what Biden's condition was, and they covered it up until they couldn't cover it up anymore. They covered it up by lying. And I would say if you're going to remove him as a candidate, you got to remove him as president, because candidate is the easy part. President is the hard part. How can he continue as president? So, they got a lot to answer for.
You're on so many key committees, and you talk about that. There's such huge security issues happening in the world right now. We look at what's happening, of course, in the Middle East. We look at Ukraine, and we look at our wide open southern border, which I know, Senator Rubio, you understand all too well. How important is it to have a commander-in-chief who really has his finger on the pulse? And all I think about is if President Trump comes in, he's got a lot to clean up.
Let me tell you a story, because I was kind of tangentially around this when it happened. President Trump warned the Iranians that no American should die, and they didn't listen. They tested him, and an American contractor died in a missile attack by one of their proxy groups in Iraq. They then tried to storm our embassy. They tried to do a Benghazi in Baghdad, and he said that wasn't going to happen. He surged forces and blew that back. And then he said, all right, 48 hours later, Soleimani was dead. And they were all shocked, because Soleimani's an untouchable guy. Soleimani was such an arrogant guy that he flew into Baghdad in a commercial flight, jumped in a car that some guy just picked him up off the curb, no security detail. He had no fear, and then he was gone. The Iranians calmed down a lot after that happened, a lot. They really calmed down. Like, we didn't have the problems we had with them after that point. And, they did some symbolic thing, and they messaged very clearly, this is going to be symbolic. We don't want this to escalate, and it was over. I get it. I wish we lived in a world where people could have a meeting at the UN and work this out, but there are parts of this world where the people you're dealing with only understand strength. They respect strength. They may hate your guts, but they understand strength, and they are encouraged and emboldened by weakness. And right now, we appear weak. We just do. People view Biden as weak. Our enemies view him as weak. And that's why Putin starts an invasion. That's why the Taliban humiliated us. That's why China is intimidating the Philippines and Taiwan aggressively every single day. That's why I'm convinced what happened on October 7th happens. And what could happen now with Hezbollah in Lebanon, which is even far more dangerous. So it is what the real dangers in the world are dealt with through a position of strength, not weakness. And I think Trump always kind of instinctively understood that in a way that sometimes people like Joe Biden, both because of the condition he's in and because of the people he's surrounded by, don't get. And it's put our country in great harm, and it's done tremendous damage to our global reputation.
Absolutely. Well, Senator Marco Rubio, thank you so much for
you.
being here. It's an honor to see you here at the Republican National Convention. Thank you.
Thank you. Great doing this with you.